Charles had bought him for his 17th birthday. "I'll go look for him," Charles said. "I'll just have to skip the pancakes this morning. That boy of yours better have a darn good excuse for me to have to go fetch him in this weather and miss my Sunday pancakes and coffee before church. It better be good, I tell you." Charles grabbed his thick winter coat by the door, then put on his boots. Outside the door, he could hear the wind howling as the snowstorm raged. He braced himself for the cold shock when he grabbed the doorknob and realized the door wasn't closed properly, and the screen door was unlatched and wavering in the wind. Snow had blown in between the screen and the door, and some of it had even made it into the front hallway, where it had melted and left a small puddle. Charles pushed the door open and went out onto the wooden porch. The sun hadn't risen yet, and he could barely see anything. Snowflakes danced in the porch light, and he could hear the crackling creek that ran through their property. "Benjamin!" he called out, thinking he should at least search the property before he went to her house. "Are you out here, Benjamin?" His words never returned to him. They seemed to be swallowed by the quiet that came with the snow. "Benjamin! Benjamin Rutherford!" In the dim light from the approaching dawn, he spotted his oldest son, Charles Jr.'s truck parked in the driveway. Benjamin often used his brother's truck when going somewhere, but apparently not today. There was no footprints in the driveway after the heavy snowfall the night before. No fresh tracks were leading to or from the house, and there was no sign of Benjamin. "What's going on?" Charles's brother, Douglas, had been living in the guest house ever since his wife threw him out 10 months ago. He came up on the porch. "I was about to come over for some breakfast when I heard you call. Why are you out here in this weather?" Charles grunted. "It's Benjamin. He wasn't up in his bed when his sister went in this morning to wake him up." "Oh, really?" Charles sighed. "And now you think he's with her, am I right?" Charles nodded. "Maybe. I'll go with you," he said. "You don't have to do that," Charles said. "I know how to deal with my own son." "Oh, I know you do. If anyone does, it's you. Still, you might need an extra set of eyes in this weather. Not a lot of visibility right now." Charles looked out at the snow, then up at the dark skies above. It was getting lighter out now, but the thick cover of clouds made it seem like the night would never end. Before leaving, they went around back and looked inside the shed. They peeked under the porch and walked through the backyard, calling his name to make sure he wasn't still there. When they came back, Beatrice and Penny were looking at them from the window, clinging onto each other, worried eyes lingering on the men. Charles walked up to the door, then rushed inside, worry beginning to eat at him. "Penny, when did you see him last?" Penelope bit her lip. She barely looked at her father as she spoke.
"Just before midnight, we were sitting in the living room watching a movie when Savannah texted him and asked to talk to him out on the porch. He grabbed his jacket and went outside where they met. They had a fight and were talking loudly, sometimes yelling at each other."
Penelope looked up at her mother briefly, then continued.
"Before he went out on the porch, I reminded him to lock up when he came back inside."
"But he never came back inside," Charles said. "The door wasn't locked. He must have gone with her. It's the only reasonable explanation."
"His phone is still on the table inside,"
Penny said.
"In the living room."
"Maybe he forgot it," Charles said. "Let's go see if he is at her place," Doug said. The tip of his nose was turning red in the cold, or maybe it was from drinking the night before. It seemed to Charles that his brother's nose was always a little red. "Let's go fetch that unruly son of yours at his girlfriend's place." Doug put his hands in his pockets to hide how badly they were shaking. Charles wrinkled his nose as they approached the garage. "Don't call her that, please." Doug shrugged. "I know you don't like her, but it's what she is. And the more you don't approve of her, the more you're pushing him into her arms. You do realize that, right? Just because he's the son of a preacher doesn't mean he's not going to get himself in trouble. He's a boy. It's what they do. Don't you remember your own teenage years, huh? Do I need to remind you?" "Let's just go, shall we? And no talking, please," he said, as the engine of his pickup roared to life, while he wondered if he had heard a tremor in his daughter's voice when she spoke, or it was just his imagination. It sounded very similar to all the times when she had covered for her brother earlier in life. Savannah Kelsey lived half a mile away. Her mother owned and ran Smoky Mountain Trailer Park, a campground for tourists located in downtown Maggie Valley, and they lived in a camper on the property. Savannah and her mother were new in town, and had only arrived 2 years ago when they bought the campground using the money that they had received from selling their